Hi, everyone. I hope everybody's feeling healthy and happy. So today's assignment is budgeting spreadsheets. Now, your date might be different. This is before I've actually published it out to you guys, so the dates could change. But anyway, the title of the lesson is budgeting spreadsheets. And in that activity, we're going to use the Hit the Road Adventure game. So you'll click on this link right here, and you'll go to this game right here. Now, when this game starts to play, it has this music to it. So um, after a while, it gets a little old. So one thing you can do is in your tab, you can go up here, right click on your tab and mute the site. As you get into the game, there is a place where you can mute the site by clicking on the speaker, and we'll show that to you in a little bit. Now, ultimately, what we're going to be doing is tracking our expenses and our income as we go through this game. And we're going to do that in this income expense report document. So this is the document we're going to use. There is an extra credit assignment with this one, and its assignment a document looks like this. So it's a little bit different, but very similar. Don't get them confused. So here is what is required: income and expense report for Hit the Road, right here, Hit the Road report. That's the one we're going to do. Now your name should be attached to this for your in yours, but anyway, you're going to type in your name here. And if you haven't already, you need to make sure that you finish up living on a budget assignment. Now, again, the dates in the class might be different, but living on the budget assignment is a Nearpod lesson where you learn about fixed expenses and variable expenses. And you need to know that information before you can do this report. So make sure you've done that lesson before you do this lesson. All right, so how we play the game is we're going to go to Hit the Road. Go ahead and start it. You're going to have to pick some friends to go along with you. So you just hit next. Would you like to read the instructions? Of course. So here's what we've got to do. We've got to make sure that everybody in our party or in our group can eat 3 units of food a day. So we have to keep stocked up on that. We got to not run out of gas. And so those are kind of the things that we're going to be watching for. We're going to reach our final destination, which is the Rocky Mountains. We need at least $500 in our checking account to rent ski gear. This is a game where we're trying to get over to the Rocky Mountains so we can go skiing with our friends. And we need $500 to rent everything and make sure that we can enjoy ourselves. Just in case people get sick, since it is a long ride, we're starting kind of in DC area. It is a long ride, so in case we get sick or we have a flat tire, we need to make sure that we have medicine and spare tires, as well as food and gas. Okay. So what can happen is every time we make a stop, our friends can do odd jobs, as well as us can do odd jobs, depending on what our talents are. So you'll see that when we pick our friends and who can go with us, what their talents are. And so we actually are going to start off by having a loan. We're going to take out $500, which we have to pay back as we travel. So each day we're going to give $2 back to the bank to help pay for this $500 that we borrowed at the beginning of our trip. Okay, so we'll talk more about that later. And this is automatically done. So that's a good point to point out. This is automatically done, $2 a day. You won't even really know it until your money doesn't match up. So you got to keep track of that somehow. Okay, so we can buy some souvenirs. We can go sightseeing. So this trip is not just about getting across country and making money and making sure we can go on our ski trip. It's also about having a good time. So there's other things we can do, but we got to make sure we have the money at the end. All right, so here we are. We got to pick 2 friends to go along with our trip. First, we're going to choose who we are. So you guys can do this differently than what I'm doing it, but I'm going to choose to be a handyman. And then I can enter my first name and click OK. And next. Now, right? Okay. Now we got to choose our first friend. So first friend, what are they going to do? Yeah, let's have a chef, I think is what I'm going to stick with. So you have several choices here. I'm going to go with the chef. Okay. And his first name is going to be John. And keep going. And then we're going to choose our second friend. Yeah, let's make a female this time. Let's see. A photographer. That sounds good. And her name is going to be Lisa. And you guys can make that whatever you want. All right, then once we're done with that, we can hit the road. All right, so when you pay with cash, you're using money that you have today. Keep that in mind. All right, so here we are in the beginning of our thing. We're just going to start out at DC. Before we head out, take in some local sites, things like that. So you hit OK. And notice down here, we've got 30 units of food. There's 3 of us, so that's good for 10 days. We don't have any spare tires. We don't have any medicine. We do have our $500 that we're in debt to. We borrowed that from the bank. So that made us have $500 in our checking account. Now we're full on gas. We don't have any extra gas cans if we need it. This is up here is what we're going to be doing each day. So this is day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4 is going to be an opportunity to get more gas. So just keep that in mind. All right. So the first thing it wants to do is, hey, let's go to DC. So you got an experience badge. Click OK. If you want to visit the monuments or the mall is not a shopping mall, but it does have a lot of things going on in the mall. So let's check the monuments out. Now, here's where you can earn stuff or spend things. So if you want to have more than $500, then you can hand out environmental pamphlets or take photos. Now, luckily, I can do this because I have a photographer with me. So when I click on take photos, look at that. Lisa took 5 good photos and sold them for $200. Wow. Okay, before we hit OK, this is what we need to record in our report. Anytime we make money or spend money, we need to put this in our report. So you can look right here. I've already put in that the income you're going to start out with is $500. This goes in this column. Income is in this column, expenses in this column, and we need to make it negative. So for our first expense, actually we had another income. I'm going to change this. That was just an example, so we can change that. We had income of pictures, 5 pictures from Lisa. If you want to put her name in there for doing that, okay. And she made $200. So we don't need a negative amount. We need to put in a $200 positive amount. And that's going to bring up automatically our total to $700. And so now I can go back to the game and I can say, okay. And you see that this matches what I have. $700 in my checking account, $700 in my report. So we want to make sure that our report that we're keeping track of our expenses matches what's in the credit union or the bank's account. Okay, so now let's hand out some environmental pamphlets. Let's make some more money. So we're starting off in a high amount of money. All right, so Brian, John, and Lisa, all 3 of us handed out pamphlets for 3 hours and made $72. So before I hit OK, I'm going to go back to my report. I'm going to type in income. I'm going to type in handing out or pamphlets. And we made $72. Now I'm going to just check I did everything right before I hit OK. Let's see. Pamphlets. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Go back and make that correction. So just make sure you're doing a good job at keeping track of everything. Pamphlets, $72. Did we do that right? Yes. Okay. 772. Is it matching? 772. Good. All right. Now let's do some fun stuff. Let's go buy some things. So let's shop at a street vendor and let's buy some food. You know, we got some food in the car. We got 30 units in the car, but let's go ahead and buy something while we're here. So we're going to buy food. Well, look at this. If I buy 3 units of food, they're $6 a piece. That's $18. So I'm starting out with 772. I'm going to go down to 754. I'm going to buy a little bit extra just to make sure we're stocked up. So that gives, yeah, that's going to give us 3 for each of us for 4 days, right? 3, that's going to give us 4 days worth of stuff. Let's go ahead and buy that, $72. So that pamphlets, we just spent that money. All right, so before I hit buy, I want to write this down first. So I'm going to have an expense. Now, is food a variable expense or a fixed expense. So if you look up here, it says put a V for variable and an F for fixed. So this is where I'm going to put it right here. And food is variable because I could have spent a lot more money if I bought food somewhere else. And I'm going to put food. And since this is our first expense, it goes in this column. It's negative $72. Now just check my numbers to make sure I got everything right. I should be down to $700. Let's see if that's what the game is saying. Yep, down to $700. So I'll go ahead and buy that and look at matches. I'm also going to buy some medicine. I'm going to buy 2 things of medicine for $40 a piece. And so I'm going to go put that into my report. And so again, an expense. It is variable. I don't need to buy medicine all the time. And it was how much? Negative $40. And again, 660. See if it matches the game. It says 60 and buy. Okay. Let's go back. So now we've got a pretty good amount of food. We've got some medicine. Let's buy some monument pens. Let's look at, oh, this will $15. Would you like to go ahead and buy it? Nah, that's too much for me. So you said no. Visit the Washington Monument. Ooh, the Washington Monument built in over, so we learn a little bit about it. That's cool. And hit OK. All right, let's go ahead and end our day. We're at 660. Check our report. 660. Everything's matched up. We haven't forgot anything. Remember, you could mute your music here now if it's bothering you, or you could mute it up here like I did. So let's end our day. Now notice we're on day 2 now, and we just lost $2. We were at $500 in debt. We took $2 and paid back to the bank, or the bank that gave us money to loan. The loan that we got gave us $2 back. So now we're down to $498 of debt, which is how much we owe them. But we lost $2 here. So let's not forget that. You don't have to do this for every day, but you need to make sure you're keeping track of it, maybe weekly or something like that. You know what? I'm going to hit the road. I'm not going to stick around, and I'm not going to write in my debt just yet, but just know that that's happening. All right, so hit the road. Now you can see day 3 happens, day 4 happens. My food is going down. See how fast my food's going down. All right, here I am at day 6. And my gas went down to 72. So let's go ahead and fill up. And so let's buy some supplies. So let's buy some gas insurance. That's this scene here. One of those is $50. Now, do I have it? Yes, $648. Let's go ahead and buy that. So now that we're at day 6, let's go ahead and fill out our report. So we had some expenses during these few times that we spent, and they've been variable. One of the expenses, actually fixed, let's start with a fixed account, a fixed one, was our loan amount, $2 a day. So $2 a day for loan repayment. And so that's been 6 days, so that's negative 12. And then let's see if that matches 648, and that should match 648. Good. So we've got everything accounted for. Now let's do gas. Gas is a fixed or variable expense. And so we're going to put that in there. And variable and gas and so on. So you're going to keep doing this. This is $50. And you're going to keep track of your expenses and your income. So now that I've done a little bit of both, you guys kind of should know what you're doing. I'm not going to do any more. Continue to play the game the way you want to play it, not the way I just showed you to play it. And keep track of all your expenses. Make sure that this credit union amount, $598, is matching your thing. Now, if for some reason you forget something and it doesn't, it's okay. It's just a learning experience that, hey, I didn't keep track of everything. Something went wrong, and that can happen sometimes and can cause you to get fined if you take too much out of your bank because you thought you had more money because you forgot to take out an expense. And you're going to fill out that report all the way down to here. You do not need to add any more rows. Once you get to here, you're done for the assignment and get your 100% grade. If you want to continue playing the game and get all the way to the end of the game, you can do that. But you only need to fill in income and expenses all the way up to this line here. Once you've done that, you've completed the assignment and you can then turn it in. If you decide that you want to get extra credit, and this is a lot of extra credit, 50 extra credit points, You can play this game, the Uber game, by clicking on that link. And I'm just going to copy it because it's not clickable for me yet. And it's going to look something like this. And the report for that game is a little bit different. You're going to just keep track of different things that happen. So read through the directions here, type in your goal, type in your name, keep track of everything. You've got fixed expenses, variable expenses. So make sure you realize that they're not together this time, that you're just writing down the time period for your fixed expenses, how often that happens, and then write down how much it is. You might have to change this from what I have in here as an example. Same thing for your variable expenses. When you play the game, it asks you if you want to buy certain things, and you can put that in there. And then lastly, each day, it gives you a report of how much you made. And so you're going to write that into this income part of this form. So play that game if you want 50 extra credit points. Keep track of your fixed expenses that come up, your variable expenses that come up, and each day how much money you made as income, and keep track of that as well. And you can get 50 extra credit points. And that's the assignment for this today. Thank you. Good luck. Let me know if you have any questions in the chats or come to Zooms when I have them scheduled.